cuties, I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps, the Bold and the Beautiful edition. All right, guys, let's jump right into this. Today is Friday, yay, December the 2nd, 2022. And oh my goodness, I don't even, y'all tell me what you rate the soap on a scale of 1 to 10. I don't even know what to do. I'm just so happy for both Brooke as well as Taylor. So let's jump right into this. We see Thomas, Steffi, and Taylor. So Taylor is coming downstairs. It is still the day of the wedding. They have changed clothing. Um, they have changed clothes, and Thomas just tells Taylor, "All right, mom. So tell me how you really feel." And Steffi is just like, "How do you think she feels?" And Taylor just says, "Thomas, what you did was so wrong. It's so wrong, and it just wasn't right what you did to Brooke." And Taylor said, "Now look at mom." And not Taylor, but Steffi was like, "And now look at mom." So it wasn't even worth it. He said, "I just wanted to get Brooke out of our lives. That's all I wanted to do, mom. I just wanted to get Brooke out of our lives for good." And Steffi is just like, "And how did that work out for you?" So they keep Thomas and Steffi keep making little jabs at each other because she can't believe he doesn't understand how wrong this was. And Taylor is just, for the most part, she's not really saying too much. She's just concerned about Thomas and his logic and his thinking. She's concerned about how how he rationalizes what he did. um but Steffi just tells her mom, "Let's just get you out of here." And she tells her, "No, I just want to stay here a little bit," because they're still at the Eric's home. And she says, "I want to just stay here a little bit." And they're like, "Okay." And so Steffi and Thomas end up leaving, and they leave Taylor actually there um to stay in the home. And so then we see Thomas and Steffi go back to the office. Baby Steffi, Thomas was walking right behind Steffi, and she was trying to slam that door shut behind her. And because she is still ticked, and she said, "Look what you did. Now mama's heart is shattered. And what you did to Brooke," he said, "you don't even like Brooke. And how are you going to take this moral high ground now?" And she said, "I might not like somebody, but what you did, that I just want my normal brother back." And I said, "I understand what she's talking about." She was like, "This isn't normal. You do crazy things, and you don't see that you're wrong in it." And she just wants the Thomas before he became obsessed with people and winning and just hatred for someone. She wants that Thomas back. And he's just like, "I did this for mom. I did this for dad. We've always said we wanted this." And she said, "Not this way. I want mom and dad to be together because they want to be together." She said, Had you just given it a little more time, they would have found their way back to each other." Now, I will say this. Ridge was, before the whole CPS call, he was with Brooke, but he was thinking about Taylor very heavy, and we all saw it. I know some of y'all are Brooke fans, and you want to say that, "Oh, no, no, no." But he was like, every time you turned around, he was in Brooke's face. Remember, he was counseled. Like, Brooke could never, I mean, not Brooke's face, Taylor's face. Brooke could never even get him to come home for dinner because he was staying late over there at Steffi's to be around Brooke. They kept having these Forrester dinners, and Taylor was all to be around Taylor. Oh my gosh. And Taylor was all over him, and even Donna and Hope were like, it is awkward because they are like acting like a little lovey-dovey couple. So I get it. I get it. Y'all are like, "No, but it's always Taylor. I mean, Brooke and Ridge." But he was leaning towards Taylor. And I think had they just kept letting it go, at some point he would end up doing something with Taylor. But anyways, like, moving forward, he was like, "But we can't leave that up to chance and wishful thinking. Well, I did what was right for the family." And she said, "No, you do things without consequences, but this time I'm going to make sure that there are consequences for what you have done, because you can't keep getting away with this and nothing happens to you, because honestly nothing that really happened to him last time." And so she was like, "You can't keep getting away with this." So then we see Brooke, Hope, and Liam. And Brooke is telling them what all happened. And they're like, "Are you serious?" And she was like, "Yeah, Steffi is the one who came forward. She objected, and she said the wedding couldn't happen. And but Hope said, but Taylor knew, right? And she's like, well, because she was like, I think she found out, late. And she said, but she knew, and that's not the Taylor we're used to. And Brooke was like, I know, the stand up to us, don't be talking about my girl like that. But it is true. Taylor panicked. She panicked. I gotta try to defend her. She panicked in a moment of, wanting this man so bad. She panicked. Oh Lord. Anyways, let's move on. So they're just talking about it and they're like, oh my gosh, Thomas is sick. And Brooke says, well, the good thing about this is that Douglas is getting to come home. And they're like, yeah. And they were like, I can't believe Douglas has been living with that. I can't believe Thomas would do that to him. And they said, Thomas is not the one bringing him. And they said, no, it's Eric. Eric's going to be the one to bring him. And they're like, oh, I can't believe this is, it's over. And to find out that this is why Ridge was acting the way he was acting, that's just crazy. And so then Brooke says, actually, I have some unfinished business I have to take care of. I say, where you going, girl? To Tyler. And so then we see Liam and Hope talk, and he's just like, man, I can't. Thomas really needs help. And she said, yeah, you were right. Like, I feel foolish because I kept holding out hope. But Brooke, he was like, but Brooke was right the whole time. Thomas, needed help. He was not right. And so then she tells Liam about Thomas trying to kiss her. And he says, what? Liam went around in that circle and he said, what? Wait, what? And she says, no, she said, I wanted to believe everything was cool with him. She said, but now knowing this, and then he tried to kiss me. Now, she's like, I don't know. Like, I feel foolish because I wanted to believe he had changed. Like, and she was blinded by it. And he said, no, don't, he's like trying to tell her, don't feel foolish or anything. And so then, excuse me, he says, are you okay? And she says, yes. And I guess they're going to go for custody. I guess the next step would be for them to go for custody of Douglas. That's the only thing I can think of. And I know some of y'all gonna be in my comments talking about he shouldn't lose custody of his son and this and that. But if he doesn't, he doesn't need to be around him unsupervised. Is what I will say. If they do decide, yeah, we want Thomas to still have some type of relationship with Douglas, not unsupervised, because no. So then Eric ends up coming home with little Douglas, and he just tells Douglas, you're a brave young man, and I know it was hard what you had to do, but he loved having him in his home, and getting to know him better and everything. And so then Eric leaves. I'm not gonna hold you long on that. So then Liam, Hope, and Douglas talk, and they tell him Beth is asleep. I said, these little children take more naps than anybody. They tell him Beth is asleep, and but he's excited to be home, and he says, they ask him just like, are you okay? They just want to check on him, and he said, when Dad told me to not say anything about what he had done to Grandma Brooke, making the call, I knew it was wrong, but he didn't want to disappoint his dad, and he didn't want his dad to be mad at him, so he tried to keep quiet. But then he just had to tell Steffi, and they were like, we're proud of you. And even Eric had told him he was proud of him, and they were glad that he told Steffi, because that was the right thing to do, and they're so happy that he does the right thing. And he's happy to be home, and they're gonna have to figure out how this is all gonna go when it comes to Thomas, because of course Thomas is gonna, honestly, Thomas needs help, but of course he's going to still want to see Douglas. But he needs help because he still sees that he did nothing wrong. So then we go to Taylor, and so she's at the Forrester house, and first of all, I said, Ridge, you didn't go back to Taylor. You left Brooke, and you just left. You didn't go back to Taylor and straighten anything out with her in this wedding, and what? But anyways, child. So Taylor is still there, and I guess she's holding out hope that Ridge was gonna come back for, I don't know, but it ends up being Brooke, and Brooke says, "What a day." And Taylor is, I guess she's like, because she already knows she was wrong, and she's embarrassed about everything that happened. Plus, she's ashamed of what Thomas has done, and she didn't even get the man in the end. So Taylor said, "Yeah, it was a day." Excuse me, my mic is. I dropped my mic. Sorry. She said, "Yeah, I mean, what a day it was." And so then they're talking. So they get to talking, and Brooke is just confronting Taylor about everything that went down. And she said, you know, what Thomas did. I mean, she tells Taylor about Thomas. That's what I'm going to go with first. She talks to Taylor about Thomas and what he did. She says, the fact that he did that to me, like, he needs help. Help that, from a professional that's not you. That's what I heard. Because, Taylor says, yes, I agree. He does need help. And she couldn't really say anything except yes, like she could, because she can't believe what he did as well. So she's like, he does need help, and they want to get him the help that he needs, because what he did to her, to Brooke, was unforgivable. um then she tells her about, just, and you were going to get married on this lie that Thomas says, like, you knew it was wrong, and he needs help, but you were still going to get married on it. And Taylor did tell Brooke, if you're looking for Ridge, he's not here. And Brooke is like, yeah, I already saw him. And so that's when I realized. So Brooke, Ridge didn't even go home. But anyways, getting back to this. So she says, you were going to marry Ridge on this lie. And she said, the way you're making it sound, because Brooke was like, you knew that Thomas had lied about the CPS call, and you knew that that's the only reason Ridge left me and went to you, and yet you were gonna lie about this. And she said, you're making it sound like I knew in advance, like I knew this whole time. I found out 5 minutes before. And she said, and you should have went down and told Ridge immediately what you knew. And she said, I was going to tell him. And Brooke was like, when he slipped that ring on your finger. And she was just telling her, she panicked. Because she told Brooke, Ridge told me, she was like, listen, I had Steffi on one side telling me you need to tell, and Steffi was right. And then I had Thomas on another side saying, that's not why he's marrying you. It's not because of the CPS call. It's because he loves you. And she said, and he was right, because she said, Brooke, he came to me in Aspen. I ran away from him. He was telling me that, oh, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. You're the love of my life, and I want to be with you. It has nothing to do with Brooke. And I want to be with you and spend the rest of my life with you. And I ran from him. I told him I didn't want to hear it. I was done, Brooke. I was done with him. But he kept chasing me. She said he chased me to the mountaintop, or the hilltop, but the mountaintop. And then he told me, that it was nothing to do with you, that he wanted me for me, and I was the one he chose. And she said, and that was the truth. And so then this wedding and everything came about, and Brooke said, but you had to know now that that was a lie, that the only reason he left me is because he thought I betrayed him. So all these weeks that you've been with Ridge, enjoying his company, enjoying the time being alone, that was only because he was mad at me. And I said, ooh, you don't have to do my girl like this, but it's the truth. She was like, that was only because he was mad at me. That's the only reason you had him. So it wasn't the truth. And she said, but for what it's worth, I am sorry that this happened to you. And she tells, excuse me, before she says that, she tells her, so what did you tell Ridge? What did you do with Ridge, say to Ridge? And she said, I told Ridge, don't come back to me until you could decide who you want to be with. Because she said, Brooke tells Taylor, I'm done going back and forth with you. Because of Ridge. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to you. We deserve better than having a man who can't decide which one he wants to be with, which one of us he wants to be with. We deserve more than that. We deserve better than that. And Taylor is just like, yep, she agrees with that. And so then that's when Brooke tells her, what it's worth, I'm sorry, because she realizes that yes, Taylor was wrong not telling Ridge, but she also understands Brooke understands why she didn't tell him, and she also understands that she thought Ridge really loved her and he chose her, and she's heart like her heart is broken too, and so she tells her, "I'm sorry," and then Taylor tells Brooke, "I'm sorry as well, and for what Thomas did to you, what my son did to you, that was awful. It was just awful, and I'm just sorry." And she says, "Goodbye, Brooke." And I said, "Wait a minute, because y'all been telling me that her contract is up." And I said, "So is she about to leave the show? Are you really about to leave the show?" And I mean, I wouldn't blame her if she did, because how many times can you do this? And I'm so glad that they both realized in the end that we deserve better than this from Ridge. So yeah, he does need to go and decide what he really wants. And I would have loved it better if they said, but in the meantime, I'm not going to be sitting around waiting on you. I'm going to get out here and date. And even if it's for nothing serious, it's just a enjoy a night out with someone. Go out here and date and do my thing. And if I'm still here waiting on you when you decide, then cool. We could talk about working it out. But that was a bold and a beautiful today, guys. I'll be going live next Friday to do an end of soap recap over this week as well as next week. So I hope you join me there. Thank you so much for watching. It is the weekend. Don't forget to, if you go out, be safe, be blessed. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.